Very good afternoon. Very good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome back in the budget discussion again. We have had two parts so far. Yesterday, we also had the budget class. So, in the last class, we were discussing the priorities set out in this year's budget, right? There are 9 priorities which we have discussed, and in each priority, whatever schemes they have launched and their provisions. So, first priority, which is resilience in the agriculture sector. We have discussed this thing. We have seen all these schemes which are proposed to be there, right? All the centers, say the nucleus breeding centers related to your shrimps and all. We have discussed 10,000 centers, if you remember all these things. So today let's move forward with the priority 2, which we were discussing at the end of the last class. So priority 2 stands to be employment and skilling. This is again the one of the important priorities for the upcoming 5 years for the government of India. Now, under this employment and skilling priority, they have initiated a lot of schemes, right? So, employment linked incentives is their focus, basically. Employment, providing incentives linked to employment. So, let's see, government will implement the 3 schemes are there. So, you have scheme A, scheme B and scheme C for that matter, right? Government will implement 3 schemes for employment linked incentives as a part of the Prime Minister's package for this priority, right? These will be based on, as I have discussed with you in the last class also, these schemes will be based on enrollment with the EPFO, right? You all know what is the EPFO. So, EPFO is a statutory body under Ministry of Labour and Employment, right? It manages your provident fund, pension funds, all these contributions, right, from the employer and the employee. EPFO. So, it will be on the basis of enrollment in the EPFO, and focus will be there for the first time employment, first timers, right. So, the focus will be on first time employees, and to support employees as well as employers, these schemes are designed. So, there is no partial inclination towards employees, say, for that matter. They are intended, these schemes are intended to benefit both the sides, the employer as well as the employee. So, let's see what the schemes are. First scheme is the first timers. It is targeted for the first timers. Remember this thing. This scheme will provide 1 month wage. So, there is this 1 month wage plan to be provided for the first timers in this category. So, this is a financial assistance kind of a program, right. It will provide 1 month wage to all persons newly entering the workforce in all formal sectors. Also remember, that's how you can link it with the idea of formalization of jobs in the Indian economy. So, while writing your answers, if you have these kind of questions, you can quote this data from the budget that the government aims to formalize the jobs in the economy, because then you have these kind of schemes. So, this first scheme, which is first timers, scheme A, 1 month wage will be provided for the new employees entering into the workforce. You know what is the workforce, right? So, percentage of the labor force which is employed is your workforce in the formal sector. So, this is for formalization, because a lot of, almost say 90% still in Indian economy, jobs are informalized. So, you need to have proper organized and formalized jobs so that they get the social security benefits as well, right? This is the thing. Then what is the amount? The direct benefit transfer of 1 month salary in 3 installments. So, this will be like 1 month salary, but it will be in 3 installments. The maximum up to is, say, amount is 15,000. So, say there will be 5,000 each for the installment, right, for example. So, 15,000, remember, is the limit. So, this will be up to 15,000, okay. And this will be DBT, direct benefit transfer. You know what is DBT? So, direct benefit transfer is also known as JAM Trinity. Just adding to your information, JAM Trinity, JAM. This is not a mixed fruit jam or some other fruit jam. JAM is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and Mobile. Okay, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and Mobile. So, the government has very efficiently planned the introduction of Jan Dhan accounts, then Aadhaar enrollment, having unique identity, and then you have mobile penetration rising so much in India. The companies like Reliance and all providing cheaper cheaper fees for the calling and all, right? So lesser fees for SMS and all. So you have data coverage, you have mobile penetration, you have internet, you have network access, easy access, all these things. So GEM Trinity, Jandhan, Aadhaar, Mobile. Jandhan, Aadhaar and Mobile linked to each other. So this is how you get the benefit. Whatever targeted beneficiary there is, the benefit will be direct credited into your account. So this is your DBT. Again, a kind of direct benefit transfer directly into your account. Remember the amount 15,000, right? The eligibility limit to avail this benefit. What is the eligibility? Who can avail? Who among these first time employees? The eligibility should be income up to 1 lakh per month, not more than that, right? Whosoever has income say less than or up to 1 lakh per month will be eligible. So remember 1 lakh up to 1 lakh per month. Okay, then the scheme is expected to benefit around 210 lakh youth. So this data you see, 210 lakh youth is something which you can quote for demographic dividend, right? So this is promoting this is capitalizing the opportunity on the opportunity of demographic dividend when we have a lot of workforce, when we have a lot of population in the workforce, in the working age group. Yes or no, right? So you relate all these concepts with the data. Remember, 210 lakh youth will be benefited. Eligibility is 1 lakh per month of the salary, and the 15,000 amount is the DBT amount. Okay, moving ahead, scheme B. In this series, scheme B is job creation and manufacturing. So first we are providing the 1 month salary benefit or incentive to the first timers. Second, focus is on creating jobs in manufacturing sector. So you see, one thing I want to tell you here, if you see the trend of India's economic development, it is different from what there has been for majority of the countries or economies. So generally how the economic development or the trajectory takes place is like you develop the primary sector, the primary, secondary and tertiary sectors we have, right? Agriculture and light activities, then you have manufacturing, producing goods and services, and then you have services sector, broadly if you classify. So what happens is first economy develops its primary sector, then manufacturing, and then services. India's economic growth has been a case study. Case study for what? That it has jumped from primary to secondary, that does not to tertiary sector, services sector. Okay, so outpacing, say transcending the manufacturing sector. That does not mean that manufacturing has not been done. It has been done, but the potential which the manufacturing sector of India has not been reaped up to optimum levels. Without developing it to its optimum level, we have shifted to services or tertiary sector. That is a peculiar trend in India's growth trajectory. So you should remember this. Adding to this, if we focus on manufacturing, then this excess of production in the manufacturing sector which is there, so the difference between the potential and the real GDP in the manufacturing sector is to be met via creating jobs, also providing the employment opportunities. So this scheme will incentivize additional employment opportunities in the manufacturing sector linked to the employment of first time employees as well. So here also we are promoting first time employees. So remember, the highlight of this year's budget is they are promoting first time employees. Also an incentive will be provided. Now they have not specified clearly yet, but it will be specified in the course of time. So an incentive will be provided at specified scale directly both to the employee as well as to the employer with respect to their EPFO contribution. So you know that both the employee and the employer, they have to contribute, right? So some kind of benefit or incentive will be provided by the government both to the employer as well as the employee on their contributions, right? In first 4 years of such employment, any additional employment, right? The scheme is expected to benefit almost 30 lakh youth entering employment and their employers as well. So any additional employment, both employer and employee will get benefited, okay, for their contributions in the EPFO for the first 4 years of employment. This is expected to benefit around 30 lakh youth also, and the employer and the employee both will get benefited. So they will specify the incentive. They will specify the incentive as and when during the course of time, right? So This is the thing. Next you see scheme C. Scheme C. So scheme C here is support to employers. So not only employees are being incentivized, but employers are also being incentivized. So this employer focused scheme will cover additional employment in all sectors. Whatever employment is getting added into all sectors of your economy, all additional employment within again a salary range of up to 1 lakh per month will be counted eligible for this. The government will reimburse to employers. So what kind of benefit will be provided? That the employers of these additional employees, their contributions in the EPFO, say up to 3,000 per month for 2 years towards their EPFO contributions for each additional employee. This is a huge incentive, isn't it? For each additional employee. This is not for total. In all sectors, for each additional employees, the government will reimburse to the employer's contribution up to 3,000 per month. Up to 3,000 per month for 2 years towards each additional employment which is there. It is a great initiative, right? Yes, this is for new employees only. What are getting added? So basically adding more employment in the economy, promoting employment, right? And remember this thing, this contribution, this relaxation in the contribution and this incentive is for each additional employee up to 2 years. Each month there will be a reimbursement of 3,000 per month, whatever the contribution has been done in EPFO by the employer. So you know this, how does this work, right? So you have provident fund and all, where the employee also contributes and the employer also contributes. Then you have participation of women in the workforce. Also, the scheme is expected to incentivize additional employment of 50 lakh persons. So almost 50 lakh people will be incentivized to be added into the employment generation, right? So additional employment of 50 lakh persons. Remember this data as well. Additional employment of 50 lakh persons will be there. This scheme is going to incentivize this much additional employment. Then if we talk about participation of women in the workforce, so yes, that cannot be ignored. So when we are talking about the workforce, women participation is very much important. The government will facilitate higher participation of women in the workforce through setting up of working women hostels. So they are planning to set up working women hostels, right, in collaboration with the industry. So wherever you work, whatever your industry is, we can have nearby working women hostels. So that can encourage women, you know, to step outside their houses, to say leave their places if it is required, and then safely they can work over there, right? So, and establishing creches. So creche facility will also be there. You know what is a creche? So it is a daycare facility for your younger children, right? So all these things will be there. So if there's a woman who is married and having children, and you always know there's this responsibility, so they sometimes find it difficult to manage between these responsibilities and the job. So it would be adding there, it would help them in, say, doing the work or being very active in the workforce if they have these kind of facilities, creche facilities as well. So this is the plan of the government. In addition, the partnership will seek to organize women-specific skilling programs. Government is also planning to partnership with different industries, different sectoral industries, to have skilling programs for women so that they can be provided the jobs in the market, right? They can have skill set which are in demand in the market. And promotion of market access for women SHG enterprises. So you know, women empowerment is something which is incomplete without the talk of self-help groups, right? Self-help groups are very, very vital in promoting the participation of women in all these sectors. So we are planning, the government is planning to have more market access to all these self-help groups working towards working for the betterment of these women, right? You know what is a self-help group, where they form a group together and they say pool their money. Whenever someone requires the money, they can get the loan out of it. So there's a pooling of funds and all these concepts. So self-help groups they have been very important in the women empowerment. In rural economy, they have played an important role. You have cooperative model as well, almost on similar lines. So these are important areas. Self-help groups are important. So this is the thing. Then if we talk about the skilling program further, government has announced that a new centrally sponsored scheme as the fourth scheme under this package. So fourth scheme will be there for skilling. So it will focus particularly on skilling in collaboration with state governments. So imparting skills in collaboration with the state governments is the fourth program or plan of the government or scheme of the government. So in collaboration with state governments as well as specific industries, right? So clearly their focus is on skill development. Then we have 20 lakh youth who will be skilled over a 5-year period. So they are planning to have these skilling programs for around 20 lakh youth, and then 1000 industrial training institutes will be upgraded in hub and spoke arrangements with outcome orientation. So basically government is continuously focusing on skilling, right? Skill is something which we require presently. So remember this thing, that 20 lakh youth will be skilled over 5-year period of time. Now what is this spoke and hub arrangement? So you have industrial training institutes still, but then they will be upgraded. They will be upgraded to this spoke and hub arrangement or model. What is this spoke and hub arrangement? How is it gonna add to this skilling program? So there are already 1000 industrial training, say 1000 industrial training institutes. They are planning to upgrade them into spoke and hub arrangement. What is it? So say in hub and spoke arrangement, there is a central service or central facility. So at the core you have a central facility, linked to it are different spokes, you know, different spokes will be linked to it in a bilateral manner. So these are different spokes. Is it clear? These are different spokes. So this is the hub and these are spokes. This model will ensure that these services, these programs, they are decentralized as much as possible. Are you getting my point? They are decentralized. So this central facility will manage everything and then it will be decentralized. So this is how it will be collaborating with the state governments to have more coverage of the eligible beneficiaries, right? So this is a model. Spoke means these entities, right, which are being managed or coordinated by the central hub here. Simple. So this is known as a spoke and hub model or arrangement. Clear? Now you remember this thing. So this is an interesting name, that these 1000 industrial training centers will be upgraded to this model. Got this point? Moving ahead, the course content and design of these skilling programs, they will be aligned to the skills need of the industry, and new courses will be introduced for, say, emerging needs. Whatever market needs are there, so they will be market driven. The code, the structure, the skills, whatever there is in demand in the market, right? So government is catering to market needs here. Clear? Skilling loans, they are also planning to have skilling loans. Now what do we mean by skilling loans? So basically what happens is, you know, sometimes you are not able to afford these skilling programs. Say you are not able to afford to pay for these programs. In that case, you can avail these loans. The model skill loan scheme is going to be revised for this purpose. Model skill loan scheme, loan particularly for skill imparting, right, will be revised to facilitate loans up to how much amount? Up to, say, 7.5 lakh with a guarantee. 7.5 lakhs, up to 7.5 lakh with a guarantee from the government. So the guarantee will be provided from government promoted fund, any government promoted fund. Now this measure is expected to help almost 25,000 students every year. This is how all those students who are not able to afford to these skilling programs, not able to afford the fees, they will be get benefited, and up to 7.5 lakh will be your loan amount. And the guarantee will be provided by any government promoted fund, right? So this will be from government side. So this is another welcome step. 25,000 students every year will get benefited. That is not a bad initiative, right? So this is a good initiative. It will empower the students, it will empower the youth to have market driven skills, so that they can get jobs they can have skills for the jobs which are required in the market. So we talk about that the Indian graduates, say engineer graduates as well, they are having higher rates of unemployment because it might be the case that the skills required are not matching with what the skills they have been imparted with. So this will bridge the gap again. I hope this is clear to all of you, right? Then education loans for helping the youth who have not been eligible for any benefit under government schemes and policies. Government announced a financial support for loans up to 10 lakh for higher education in domestic institutions. So again, this was 7.5 lakh was particularly for skilling, right? But for higher education, if you are not a beneficiary of any other scheme by the government, the amount goes to up to 10 lakh, right? For any domestic institute only, not for the foreign one, right? It will help students complete their higher education as well. So e-vouchers for this purpose will be given directly to 1 lakh students every year for annual interest subvention of 3% of the loan amount. So e-vouchers will be provided to all these students, and when you get the e-vouchers, also interest subvention, and annual interest subvention of how much? Of 3% of the loan amount will be provided. That means what? What is the concept of interest subvention? If you have read about the Kisan credit card scheme, it also has interest subvention, right? What is the idea of interest subvention? That you get the concessional rate of interest. Whatever the rate of interest is going in the market, you get it at a concessional rate of interest. This is the idea of interest subvention. Yes or no? Yeah, so basically in interest rate, we don't call it subsidy, we call it as a interest subvention or concessional rate of interest, right? I hope you have understood. So this will be 3% of the loan amount annually, right? 3% of the loan amount. So remember this data. So 7.5 lakh loan for the skilling program, then you have 10 lakh, up to 10 lakh for educational loans, interest subvention of how much percent? 3% of the loan amount annually, right? This is the thing. So clearly government is also focusing on jobs and higher education of the youth. Next priority which we have is of course human resource development and social justice. Human resource development and social justice. So we have discussed two priorities and the schemes launched under them. I hope all of them are clear to you, right? Remember the data and the concept as well. Also now we have the human resource development as the third priority. Also with it, the social justice. So what all are these schemes under this priority? Let's have a look at them. What is human resource development? So what is the idea of human resource? Idea of human resource is basically that all your people, all your population, the humans which you have in your country, they are resources for you, they are assets for you, right? They are assets for you. So if you invest in them, your economy will get a return. This is the concept, right? You have to invest. You do not spend on them. You actually invest because they are assets. We all are assets, right? So enhancing their capabilities will add on to their skill sets. That is how we will be able to capitalize upon our, say, assets, say demographic dividend, right? This is the thing. So in this thing, human resource development, first thing which is highlighted in the budget is saturation approach. Saturation approach. Remember this word, saturation approach. What is saturation approach? So saturation approach is basically when you try to cover in any policy implementation. Whenever you see this word saturation approach, we try to reduce the leakages. What kind of leakages? So when we have a saturation approach, it means you try to cover all the intended eligible beneficiary. No eligible beneficiary should be left, right? So avoiding the marginalization of the people and mainstreaming all of them in the policy implementation. So this saturation approach has been adopted. Government is committed to all round, all pervasive, all inclusive. So inclusive, including every strata, all the intended beneficiaries. No one should be left out, right? Including development of people, particularly farmers, youth, women and poor. So in this saturation approach, who all are our intended beneficiaries? They are farmers, youth, women and poor. Farmers, youth, women and poor. Okay, so this doubt, what are fiscal services? You see, in the first part we have seen that the government has other non-tax revenue receipts. Under that head you have these fiscal services. Fiscal means what? Related to government. Government provides you a lot of services. Fiscal services, government, you know, mints the coins, right? So minting coins and then assaying the metallic quality, all these processes, government earns out of this. All these things, they come under the fiscal services. I have explained this concept in the part 1 as well. I hope this is clear now, right? So saturation approach, targeting farmers, youth, women and poor. Next, for achieving social justice, the comprehensively, the saturation approach of covering all eligible people through various programs, including those of education and health, will be adopted to empower them by improving their capabilities. All right. So that's why I said you, what is the saturation approach? Wherever you read it, be clear on the concept. Now you know that there is something called social justice. What is social justice? That in society everyone should have equal opportunity to be to develop, to read, to say develop their capabilities, right? So social justice, no one should be left out of any welfare program, any targeted benefit of the government. They should be mainstreamed, not marginalized from the benefits what other peoples are getting, right? So all these divides which have been created on various grounds, they have to be eliminated. More and more inclusion has to be there. So on those grounds only, government wants, in education and health sector, there are a lot of disparities. We want to reduce it. So we want to have these farmers, youth, women and poor, who are the vulnerable sections of the society, right? You see, poor, women, farmers, they need more help from the government side because they have been marginalized, right? So that's why we want to cover all of them. This is the saturation approach, particularly in education and health sector. Then implementation of schemes meant for supporting economic activities like by craftsmen, artisans, self-help groups, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and women entrepreneurs and street vendors will be there. So they want to implement properly all these schemes which were targeted to help to assist them financially, right? Your artisans, street vendors, women, poor, rural unemployed, all these people. What are these schemes? They have mentioned PM Vishwakarma. If you have been following these schemes, you all know, right? So what is PM Vishwakarma? Vishwakarma scheme, as you know, is a very important initiative launched to financially assist the artisans, right? To have entrepreneurs, to promote their engagement in the workforce, to give them financial assistance, right? To the artisans and craftsmen, PM Vishwakarma. Then you have PM Swanidhi. This is for street vendors, right? Street vendors. So basically providing assistance to your street vendors, PM Swanidhi. Yes. Then you have National Livelihood Mission, of course. So in National Livelihood Mission, you want to eliminate poverty. You want to make the, particularly in rural areas, you want to have self-employment opportunities to make them self-employed, eliminate poverty. So this is an umbrella term. It encompasses a lot of aims which are there in National Livelihood Mission, right? Then you have Stand Up India program. Under Stand Up India program, you want to have all these marginalized communities so far, like women, like SCs, like STs, we want them to stand up, to have active voice in the workforce, to be entrepreneurs, right? So promoting entrepreneurship among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, women, and all other categories, right? So you have Stand Up India. These schemes, they want to have proper implementation of them so that we can have a saturation approach. No intended beneficiary should be left out of the benefit. This is the thing, right? I hope this saturation approach is clear to all of you now. Next thing under this priority 3 is Purvodaya. Next thing is Purvodaya. What is this Purvodaya? So basically, as the name suggests, this is for the betterment and development. Government will formulate a plan which is Purvodaya plan, you know, for the all-round development of the Purva, which is the eastern region, right? Which is the eastern region of the country. And that covers your Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh. All these states, the eastern region, they want to develop with industrial corridors, right? Multi-purpose irrigation projects and all. So what all are they planning to do? Let's see. First thing, this will cover human resource development, infrastructure, generation of economic opportunities to make the region an engine to attain Viksit Bharat. So basically, eastern region should also be included in the economic growth and economic development trajectory of India. So first, their target is Bihar, development in Bihar. What all schemes are targeted to be there in Bihar, okay? So let's see what all packages do they have for the state of Bihar. So on the Amritsar-Kolkata industrial corridor, they will support development of an industrial node at Gaya. So they are planning to develop these industrial centers or industrial nodes. It will be at Gaya in Bihar. So on this Amritsar-Kolkata industrial corridor, they are planning to have an industrial node at Gaya. This is first thing, right? Next, this corridor will catalyze industrial development of the eastern region. So this corridor again is very important. You must have read about this, right? So this will improve economic development, provide market-driven opportunities, employment, development centers, industrial centers, all these things. Capability centers will be there. So Amritsar-Kolkata industrial corridor. So they want Bihar to get benefit out of it as well. That's why industrial node at Gaya is planning to be established. Then this model shall showcase Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi in our growth trajectory. So this is an important theme which I want you to remember, because you know Gaya is a heritage for us, isn't it? So they want to tell you, they want to emphasize that heritage and development, they are not separate things. They can coexist. Whatever heritage sites we have, whatever sites are important from the point of heritage for us, they can also be developed once. They need not be on a traditional image that, you know, this is a heritage, so wahan par to sab aise hoga, purana type ka and all these things. No. So whatever image we carry, a traditional image we carry, they want to break the myths. They want to tell us that heritage and development can coexist. So remember this thing, Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi. Yeah, so like a hub or center, right? These nodes will be, so this is one of the node on this corridor, right? On this entire corridor. So this is the thing. Next, government is also planning to support development of road connectivity there, apart from industrial development, road connectivity projects at a total cost of 26,000 crores, right? So for road connectivity, they have projects, they have expressway projects. You should remember these names, right? So this is for Bihar particularly, right now what we are discussing. This is for Bihar. First is Patna Purnia Expressway. Patna Purnia Expressway for Bihar. Then you have Buxar Bhagalpur Expressway for Bihar. Then you have Bodh Gaya, Rajgir, Vaishali and Darbhanga spurs. If you see these names, Rajgir, Vaishali, right? Can you tell me in history if you have read about them? These were the Janpaths, right? So they have very much significance for Indian culture, Indian heritage, right? So if you have read ancient history, they have been important Janpaths for India or Indian subcontinent of that time, right? So that's why the theme Vikas bhi and Virasat bhi, right? Bodh Gaya, Rajgir, Vaishali and Darbhanga spurs. Now spurs means they will be the nodes on these expressways, right? These expressways will be linked to these regions as well. Additional 2-lane bridge cover. So there will be a 2-lane bridge over the Ganga at Buxar. So they are planning to have a 2-lane bridge over river Ganga at Buxar. Yes, of course, Buddhism is also linked to these places, right? So this is their plan for road connectivity, better road connectivity. They want to connect all these places with expressways, fastest road connectivity possible there, right? So Patna Purnia Expressway, Buxar Bhagalpur Expressway, then have Bodh Gaya, Rajgir, Vaishali, Darbhanga also connected to them. Then you have additional 2-lane bridge over river Ganga at Buxar, right? So these are certain. Also then power projects are also there. Power projects. So when we are talking about development, power projects cannot be left behind, including setting up. So remember this data as well. They want to set up a 2400 megawatt power plant at Pir Panti, right? How much megawatt? 2400 megawatt power plant at Pir Panti in Bihar. It will be taken up at a cost of around 21,400 crores. So it is easy to remember the figures. Say 2400 is the 2400 megawatt power plant, right? So just remember 2400 and 21,400 crore will be the outlay or the cost for this project. Similar number, so it will be easier for you to cram up these numbers, right? Also new airports. So air connectivity is also a focus. New airports, medical colleges, sports infrastructure. You see, India has been performing exceptional in sports, isn't it? Exceptionally. So sports infrastructure is necessary to add on to the skills, sports skills which we have from all corners of India. They have, they are making us proud from each and every corner of India as a nation, right? Then airports, medical colleges, sports infrastructure will also be constructed. An additional allocation to support capital investment will be provided. Means capital investment will be there. Government okay. I'll try to fix this thing in the next class. I hope this is not disturbing you too much, right? Thoda sa I would restrict my movement in that case if it is creating a problem with the mic. All right. So capital investment will also be promoted, and there will be a additional allocation for capital investment. Investment in the capital assets, infrastructure, capital goods, which further create economic activities, which further generate economic activities and production activities. Then you have the request of Bihar government for external assistance from multilateral development banks will be expedited. So any grants they want, any assistance, say at concessional rate of interest, they want a loan from multilateral development banks. What are multilateral development banks? So you have these banks, like Asian Development Bank, ADB, one such example. So you have these banks, ADB, right? Yeah. So there are a lot of multilateral development banks which provide assistance for development projects and processes in developing countries, right? So Bihar government also wants to take some kind of assistance from them. So what is the difference between loan and assistance? So assistance will be, you know, at somewhat concession from what is going, from what interest rate is going there in the market. So government, central government will help the state government, the government of Bihar, in this process as well. So all these things were there for the Purvodaya priority, Purvodaya aim, development of the eastern region for one state, which is Bihar. You have other states in the series as well, right? So this is for Bihar. Remember the projects, the expressways, remember the 2-lane bridge over river Ganga, right? All these data. I hope this much is clear to all of you. Yes. Right? So keep on revising these figures. You just go through them number of times. You will be able to remember these things, right? Also, there is a class scheduled next. So we will have to stop here. We will resume this discussion in the next class, most probably tomorrow, right? So we will resume from here. In the Purvodaya category, what all the government plans to have for your Andhra Pradesh, state of Andhra Pradesh, right? We have discussed for the Bihar. Any doubts so far? Otherwise, we will end this class here. Any doubts? No doubts, right? Also, that's why in the very first class only, I have explained you all these concepts related to structure of budget. So now when you go through the budgetary document, you need not go through these concepts individually. It will save your time, right? So be very clear on these concepts. So whenever you read the data that, okay, this is the capital expenditure, these are the capital receipts, you are able to remember the data along with the fundamentals. All right then, all the best to all of you. Keep on reading, keep on revising. Thank you for staying interactive and focused. I'll see you in the next class. Have a very good day. Thank you, Manu. Thank you so much. I wish you all the very best wherever you go in your life, to all of you, right? Market stabilization scheme. What market stabilization scheme? All right. So I'll see you in the next class. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.